Greetings from the city of brotherly love. I am Fernando Mendez, host of the Roundtable. We invite you to listen to our discussion of the themes of the day when we bring you regional, national, and international news. Señores oyentes de Usala Media, estamos aquí de nuevo con su programa La Mesa Redonda de Roundtable, desde el corazón de la ciudad del amor fraternal. From the city of brotherly love, les habla Fernando Mendez. Conduce este programa Dylan de Rosato. Bueno, primero que todo, un saludo cordial de parte de Usala Media para todos ustedes. Agradecemos mucho que hayan estado en sintonía a través de los sucesos de este año. Y se acerca la Navidad, así que le vamos a desear a ustedes una feliz Navidad. Es un momento ahora, se acerca el fin del año, para reflexionar sobre lo que hemos visto, lo que hemos vivido, las experiencias que hemos tenido, no solo en la vida política, con el asunto de las elecciones, con los escándalos que han habido, pero los buenos eventos, como los que han sucedido especialmente en el deporte, cuando ha llegado y está a punto de solucionarse quién va a ser el ganador de la Copa Mundial de Fútbol. Y recordemos que la competencia, viene a Estados Unidos, México y Canadá para el 2026. Cabe reflexionar en este momento con ocasión de pensando sobre la Copa Mundial. El modo como, y hay que decirlo, los líderes se vendieron y la gente encargada de FIFA se vendieron y le dieron la sede a Rusia primero para el 2018 y luego a Qatar para el 2022. Y pues nadie entiende cómo ocurrió eso. Simplemente se sabe, más que antes se sospechaba simplemente, ahora se sabe con más certeza porque hay pruebas de que los encargados, los líderes, la administración de FIFA, los ejecutivos, de algún modo se beneficiaron económicamente. Es el único modo como se explica que un país que no tenía tradición de fútbol, como Qatar, haya llegado a ser la sede para el 2022. Y ya veremos qué pasa en el 2026. Una de las preocupaciones principales en este momento es sobre el clima. Ya vimos la necesidad de mover el evento en Qatar por cuestiones de temperatura de junio-julio a noviembre del 22 para poder celebrar la Copa en Qatar. Una de las preocupaciones, no solamente de FIFA, sino también del Comité Olímpico, para los Juegos de Invierno, las competencias de invierno. Están preocupados porque esto del global warming, el calentamiento global, está impidiendo decidir de antemano dónde se puede llevar a cabo esta competencia. Y ahí está una de las grandes consecuencias del calentamiento global que está afectando no solamente los mares, la temperatura desde la costa de California con incendios hasta los diluvios que han llegado al este de Estados Unidos y huracanes, tormentas de todo tipo. Así que es una preocupación normal, racional de la gente que está encargada de tomar estas decisiones. Ya veremos qué pasa con esta decisión acerca del 2030 para los Juegos Olímpicos de Invierno. Entre tanto, pues Estados Unidos, el Canadá y México se están preparando para la Copa Mundial del 2026. Estados Unidos, me imagino que Canadá y México también, califican automáticamente para participar en el torneo. Otro detalle acerca de la Copa Mundial, en este momento van a disputar, en el momento de grabar este programa no se sabe quién va a ganar entre Francia y Argentina. Han llegado a las finales del torneo. Mucha gente favorece a Francia, que sería bicampeón, que repetiría pues desde el 2018 hasta ahora. Pero hay gente que le está dando el papel de ganador, la victoria a nuestro querido país de Argentina, porque Messi es la estrella que finalmente parece que se ha despertado y está en el último juego. No solamente metió un gol, sino que sirvió de asistente para otros goles. Así que va a estar buena la contienda y veremos. Ya al otro lado del torneo, ya estaremos también en este programa tal vez celebrando la victoria de Argentina o llorando si la victoria le tocó a Francia. Somos partidarios, por supuesto, latinos todos, empujando a la Argentina. Buena suerte a nuestros amigos argentinos. Bueno, that was the beginning of my salute to our listeners. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas in the name of Usala Media. We are very pleased that we have been able to continue with our programming, and we promise you we will have many more programs to inform, to educate, to bring you all the commentary about current events. We have programs like Alcanzando la Felicidad with César Galvez, que es un gran conductor de ese programa, un hombre de muchas ideas, acaba de escribir un libro. Así que aquí hay espacio para todo lo que tenemos que oír. So, we were remembering 2022 and talking about the main events, and obviously the World Cup is one of the main events. We were talking about the corruption in FIFA that gave the games to Russia, first in 2018 and then to Qatar in 2022. And everybody knows that somebody at the top, some of these executives, sold their souls to somebody who gave them money to vote for those countries. With no Qatar, with no traditional soccer, but there they are hosting the cup, and they had to move it from the summer months to winter to make the climate bearable for the participants. But instead of focusing on that, let's focus on the fact that there are two countries that have come to the final game, Argentina and France. France will repeat if they win the final game. Argentina with Messi, it will be his first world championship, and the only thing that he and Maradona would have also to share the glory of great football that the Argentinians play. So we are wishing all the luck to our friends from Argentina. We will talk about the results of that event probably on the other side of Christmas. We're also thinking on a more serious vein about other thoughts that about our history, about the way this country has changed. not only about the events, the 2020, 22, and 2020, when the challenge to our system came by way of an invasion of the capital, but also about 2022, and that election that should have given the Democratic Party control of the House. Now they control the Senate, not by much. So I think the difference is one vote, and then we had one senator, Kristen Sinema, deciding at the very last minute that she is going to be independent. Now the hope is that she would continue to vote with the Democrats, and that will give them the edge. That's very important for us at this point when Biden should be appointing judges and ambassadors and other positions of government that are very important. So control of the Senate will enable Biden to implement some of these ideas. Having lost control of the House now leaves that part of the government in the hands of Kevin McCarthy. And that is sort of it's a bit tragic for this country at this point in history, when we need more able leaders, more capable, more ethical, more rational leaders, people who do not have the stain of those recent events of the invasion of the Capitol, people who have acted honorably. So what is happening right now, unfortunately, is that the January 6th committee is about to submit a final report. And what do we see in that final report? We see how so many Republicans were plotting against the election, how many Republicans were sending texts, messages to Meadows, who was the chief of staff for Donald Trump, and asking him to interfere, to stop the count, the official count. That was the reason for the invasion of the Capitol, to stop the official certification of the votes. Senator Amy Klobuchar was on MSNBC, and she was explaining there was a proud moment for her to walk into the Capitol. This is after the invasion, when things were cleared, and this was about 3 in the morning, I believe. She and Mike Pence and Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they were carrying the boxes that contained the electoral votes, the official votes that now the vice president had to certify and certify the victory for President Biden. That was, as we know, used to be something automatic, sort of taken for granted that this was going to happen. And there was nobody expecting, at least at that hour, that day on January 6th, nobody expected that individuals would invade the Capitol and attempt to stop the official certification of that election. But as Amy Klobuchar said, that day, with that certification, with the ability of Mike Pence to count the votes and certify the votes, in spite of, let's remember, there was opposition from Republican congressmen and one senator, Ted Cruz. Let's not forget that it was Ted Cruz who officially, along with congressmen, challenged the results of the election. So he is an individual that cannot be trusted. He's been dishonest. He's followed Trump. In fact, he has followed Trump, a man who belittled him, belittled his wife, insulted his father, and yet this man has no spine. It is a shame that he is representing the great state of Texas. I have relatives there, and they are ashamed of this senator. So that happened. It was certified, and now 2 years of Biden have given us great legislation. He has advanced the cause of human rights. He has advanced the protection of the environment, among other things. And that is in spite of the opposition of the Republicans. Now they officially probably will create more obstacles in the way. Now, since they have control of the House, we believe that that's one of the tasks. What is hard to believe is that they are going to focus on Hunter Biden. That is what the Republicans intend to focus in the next 2 years. So, now we're going to take a brief pause here in Usala Media. Les habla Fernando Mendez, Dylan de Rosato controla el tablero. Regresamos en un momento. Pagano's Market and Bar has been serving gourmet Italian foods in Center City for 3 generations. Call Matthew Pagano for all your catering needs, and during these difficult times, please mention Fernando Mendez and receive a nice discount along with free delivery. Pagano's also makes the finest gift boxes in the city for all your holiday needs. Visit paganosmarketandbar.com. Señores oyentes de Usala Media, estamos aquí de nuevo en la mesa redonda. Les habla Fernando Méndez, Dylan de Rosato, controla el tablero. Bueno, estamos en un momento de aniversarios, y uno de ellos es sobre el presidente Lyndon B. Johnson, quien hizo muchas cosas para cambiar el mundo, para cambiar la situación de los pobres, para cambiar el asunto, los problemas de racismo y todo, pero vamos a comentar más tarde sobre eso. Vamos a abrir con un clip que tenemos aquí, Dylan de Rosato ha preparado para nosotros. Así que, go ahead, Dylan.
Rome wasn't built in a day, and we can't overcome all the injustices or make this a perfect world overnight. But we are on our way, and we are going to do just that before it's over.
So that's what Lyndon Johnson said at a gathering of civil rights, and he is someone who, by all means, tried to change the landscape in this country. So the president was ill at the time, but he wanted to say something about one of the main concerns of the day, civil rights. I believe that the essence of government lies with unceasing concern for the welfare and dignity and decency and innate integrity of life for every individual. That's a direct quote from that speech. He said, I wish I didn't have to add these words to make it clear, but I will. Regardless of color, creed, ancestry, sex, or age. LBJ did more than any president up to that time to advance the cause of civil rights, and not only for blacks, but for all minorities. And yet, at the end of his life, he died shortly after that speech. He felt that he had not done enough. This is what he said. I am kind of ashamed of myself that I had 6 years and couldn't do more than I did. And he did a lot. Social Security, Medicare, the war on poverty. He attempted to do more for the poor and those who suffer discrimination in this country. And as he says, he didn't have enough time. He could have continued as president, but in a famous speech in 1968, I believe, he said that he would not run. If elected, he would not run. He would not serve. It's a famous speech. That's when he gave up his ambition to continue in the presidency. I believe he did it. There was a challenger at the time, Bobby Kennedy, but I don't know if he did it because he felt Kennedy was in the way and he wanted to give Kennedy a chance, or simply because he might have been ill already and he probably felt that he could not finish. So compare that kind of leadership to what we have now. Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and his exchange of emails with more than 30 GOP congressmen revealed more about the plot, about a coup. It is a shame that at this point we have to continue that conversation, but it is very important for you, for the people, to understand. This is very important for democracy. The Republicans at this point, as they take over power in 2023, have expressed already that one of their main goals is to focus their attention on impeaching President Biden. It's a sort of revenge mentality they're bringing to government, and to focus on Hunter Biden. We're not going to defend Biden here. We're going to defend Hunter Biden. He's a flawed individual. It's well known. But for our government to come at a time in which we have so many needs, not only in this country, but we need to support Ukraine. We have poverty in Africa. We have disease like COVID still spreading around the world, from China to Africa to the Americas and in this country. And Dr. Fauci has just come again to remind us that COVID is with us. It has not gone away. So at a time when we have all these concerns, inflation in this country that is taking money from our pockets, the high cost of gas, which, by the way, is coming down, but it has cost already a lot of money to most Americans. We have those concerns, but they want to focus on impeachment, and they want to focus on Hunter Biden. And it's the usual suspects, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mark Meadows, and all these people who have already done so much damage to our country, and they want to continue doing that. We don't know, it has not been released yet, the complete report from the January 6th committee. But I want you to think about this. Compare what is happening here. So for 2 years now, we have known who, what, and how that plot was carried out to overthrow our government. Compare that to what happened in Germany in the last few weeks. The government reacted immediately to the knowledge that there was a plot to stage a coup in Germany. They proceeded to arrest 25 individuals, the leadership of that coup, and some man who was supposed to take over, to supposedly inherit the throne. And they arrested those people, and they will be in prison very soon. They'll be prosecuted and jailed very soon. They identify them quickly. They put them in handcuffs. Compare that to what we have done in this country. How long did it take for anybody to be indicted? And what are the consequences here? The leaders of the coup are still walking around. Donald Trump, Giuliani, all these people are still walking around as though they didn't do anything. They were ready to overthrow democracy. They were ready to destroy what brought this country to where we are today. We are still one of the great countries of this world. In spite of that, it's hard to understand. I remember, let's look back at what has been done by many presidents regarding poverty. We're talking about Lyndon Johnson and his war on poverty. One president had a tremendous impact on Latin America, and that was John F. Kennedy. In 1960 dollars, he gave Latin America $20 billion with a B. And that money was used for building schools, for education, for airports, to feed the poor. And that was a very effective means of helping to raise people above poverty. But not much regarding Latin America was done after that, and that's why we have, at this point in our history, we have many more immigrants coming, not only from South America, but now from Central America, from Venezuela, from Nicaragua, from Cuba, people running away from these Marxist dictatorships, because Latin America apparently didn't learn the lesson that Marxism doesn't work in government. Great on paper, equality for everybody. Everybody will be the same. That is on paper. In practice, it doesn't work. It creates an elite of people who control all the means of production and who control every aspect of government. There is no private property. All that. Latin America seems to forget that, and so they're flirting again throughout the continent, from Colombia to Chile to Argentina, Brazil. They're all flirting again with communism, as though they don't have, right now, if they only look, they have the examples of Venezuela, one of the richest countries in Latin America. It's now an economic basket case. And then there's Nicaragua. And there is the eternal problem of Cuba. What happened to that? Cuba, Fidel Castro blamed the United States always for the embargo. I don't think the embargo had anything to do with it. They could not lift themselves above poverty. They could not get rid of that type of government that kills any incentive by the individual. It destroys the spirit. But that's what Latin America right now is flirting with, from Mexico to Argentina. So wake up and smell the roses. That's not going to work. The only thing that works, as Winston Churchill said, democracy is the worst system of government except for all the others. Meaning, democracy is the only one that works in spite of all the faults of the marketplace. The free market is the only thing that would help us lift people above the poverty that they experience to this day. So in memory of LBJ, who struggled mightily to enact laws to help the poor, to help solve the problems of racism in this country. In praise of LBJ and anyone like Dr. King and many other people who have struggled all their lives to overcome obstacles to equality. So as we approach the season of Christmas, let's keep in mind the plight of poor people, not only in this country, but all around the world. We are still, in spite of all our problems, a privileged society. And we have the ability. I believe that we have the wealth, the knowledge, the research agencies, the colleges, the universities, the educated population to solve many of these problems. We are still the country where people want to come. We're still the country where people are crossing the Rio Grande to come to live here looking for a better life. So with that, we'll leave you, and we wish you the best for this Christmas season, and may all the blessings come to you. Thank you. Muchas gracias por su sintonía en el día de hoy y a través de este año. Les agradecemos mucho aquí de Usala Media, la mesa redonda, the Roundtable, Fernando Mendez, Dylan De Rosato, and Danny Ramos, who have put together this program. Thank you. Greetings from the city of brotherly love. I am Fernando Mendez, host of the Roundtable. We invite you to listen to our discussion of the themes of the day when we bring you regional, national, and international news.